And it's been an incredible year for yourself as a promoter. It's obviously shown in the 5 versus 5. You absolutely battered Eddie Hearn on that night, and we're looking to get another one soon at some point, no doubt. Preferably in the UK, that'd be very nice.
Well, we're working on that, and I believe that will be happening sometime early next year.
Do you think His Excellency is very much interested in, hopefully annually, one of those Wembley season cards? That'd be great.
I hope so. I mean, we want to see those type of shows and those events, and we'll deliver them. Of course, that was a great night boxing. It was a momentous occasion, and it was a fabulous fight and a fabulous performance by Daniel. He done everything that was asked of him.
The heavyweight division is very messy in a very exciting way. There's too many options for the top fighters, I would argue. When you look at Fury Usyk, regardless of the result, a trilogy is probably next. It's fair to say. Dubois probably would have liked to have put that extra stamp on the Joshua fight, get the rematch.
Happening later in the year, does
Exactly.
it? So we'll see what happens with that. But look, it's looking forward. There are lots of permutations, lots of things that we all like to see. But one thing's for sure, you're getting good fights. All the heavyweight fights are good fights. They're all good competitive fights.
100%. And I know you can't confirm anything. The rumours were and still are about Joseph Parker fighting Daniel Dubois. I'm not asking for an answer on that. But like you mentioned, it could be possible that if that fight were to happen, that then Dubois, all being well for yourself, would fight Joshua in the rematch. But then you've also got Eddie Hearn kind of...
Joshua's got to get to a rematch. By then we'll probably have to have a win on his record, so we'll see what happens.
You would like to see him fight first before rematch?
If he wants it. No, it's not me. I don't think... the IBF being the IBF, I think they will order that. But look, I just focus on the next fight that Daniel's having. The next fight he's having is going to be a great competitive fight. When we announce it, everybody's going to be pleased with it.
I know it's not your place to say Anthony's not your fighter, but it seems like there's been a shift from Eddie Hearn in terms of his ambitions with Anthony Joshua, in terms of he's now talking about the Tyson Fury fight again, regardless of the result. He thinks a 2-fight deal should be made for next year. From the fans' perspective, it would be one of the biggest fights in decades. There would be an insane amount of money to be made. From your perspective, do you think we see 1 or 2 fights between those two guys before they retire?
I'd like to see him get the fight on. I would like to see him get on, but as I say, we've got to focus on what's happening on the 21st in Riyadh season rematch between Tyson and Usyk. And if Tyson wins, which I believe he will, I'm quite sure there'll be a rubber match. And that's what you've got to deal with, the reality of it.
And after a rubber match, it would be, well, obviously Joshua would have fought a couple of times in that time, but if there was no rubber match, we're just talking hypothetically, it would be a hard sell, wouldn't it, to sell Tyson Fury beating the undisputed champ Usyk to then go in defending against Anthony Joshua, who's just been knocked out against Daniel Dubois?
Well, I don't know, but I think people would buy into it, but let's see what happens.
And it would leave Daniel in a sticky situation as well, wouldn't
Daniel, listen, let me tell you something. Daniel he's not a bit part in this. Anybody watched the fight of him and AJ, he's the man. I mean, he didn't nick a decision. It was an emphatic performance. He'd done something to AJ that nobody's done to him. That's what he did. So he ain't there to make up the numbers. He's the IBF champion. He's got one of the belts, and he's in a year, 13 months. You look at the opposition he fought in Usyk, and hurt Usyk. Babe Miller knocked him out, and he went in those 2 fights. He went as an underdog against Hrgovic, done a job on Hrgovic, who no one wanted to fight, and then done a job as an underdog on AJ. And all world class or world champions. That's what he's done. So he's mentioned above AJ now. That is where it's at. He's mentioned. He went into that ring at Wembley, and I said at the time, majority of people there, they're AJ fans, and for obvious reason. What AJ's done for British boxing has been marvellous. They got behind him, but I said when he comes out that ring, my man, they'll be cheering him, and that's what happened tonight.
It would be an amazing scenario for yourself, but also a difficult one. If Fury were to fight Dubois. They're your two golden boys in a sense, aren't they?
There's nothing unusual that we've done that. I wouldn't particularly want that fight to happen because I would. As a person, be conflict. But if the business calls for it and the two guys want to do it and they can make some serious money and they want to do it, as I emphasise, then we get on with it. But we'll see what happens.
What have you made of the? It's obviously jokey talk from Eddie Hearn, but he has kind of challenged Oscar De La Hoya to a fight and has urged His Excellency to get involved.
I'll be the referee.
Would you be the referee?
I'll be the referee.
Okay, we can make that happen. And final one. As we mentioned, it's been an incredible year for yourself. Every year just keeps getting better and better. At this point now, are you hungrier than you ever have been in this game?
Keep doing it. We've got a great show next week at Wembley. Look what we got on there. Their Magnificent Seven show. Fabulous show. Of course it is. We're doing good business.
Amazing. Appreciate your time. Thank you.